And that would be so awful. You had to get great guests and you didn't hit record.
Hi, boss.
We just do it again. What's up,
That's true.
Michelle?
How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you both.
Good to see you.
Both looking lovely this morning.
Well, of course, we had to look our best for you
Good answer.
and for ourselves. Well, it's Fun Friday.
Yeah.
You gotta look good on Fun Friday. All right. Well, welcome to the Now podcast, Making Moves in Real Estate. This is episode 35. And our guest today is a true entrepreneur who began his business journey at just 5 years old, a high school state champion and collegiate athlete, earning most inspirational awards and discovering his passion for helping others grow. After serving in Brazil, he launched a successful luxury home building company, but later shifted his focus to developing people and businesses. Now he is the CEO of ProInsight, co-creator of the Think Bigger Real Estate Group, host of the Think Bigger Real Estate Show, and international bestseller of the Upstream model. He's also, most importantly, married to a superhero and a proud father of 6 amazing children. Let's get ready for an inspiring and insightful episode. Welcome, Justin Stoddart. Welcome, Justin.
Thanks, ladies. You reminded me some things about my own life. Thank you. That was comprehensive. I loved it.
Anytime. Michelle dives in. She gets all the details. I try, man, but people like you, it's like, it literally starts off here and you just got to go, how to condense so many good things that you've done. Yeah, because we want our listeners to hear about all of your success, and I think you have we know you have a remarkable story, and we just want to share all your knowledge with our listeners. So tell everybody a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I think if I were to sum up, I think you said it well. Like I really got into the home building business because it was a great business. I was developing land, I was building homes, and I realized at that time that my passion was not building homes, it was building businesses. And my passion wasn't developing land, it was developing people. That was kind of an interesting junction point in my life. And it kind of took me back to the fact that I'm a really relational person. I'm kind of an extroverted introvert, and that I find a lot of energy developing myself, but I also love, like, when I'm in my happiest moments, I'm pouring into other people and helping to develop them, helping them to grow. And so my career, and I'll circle back on family life, which is probably my most important part. But my career is really taking me down a path where I can reach way more people than I ever thought I could, which is really fun. Helping them to develop a relationship-based business, right? So that those things that really mean a lot to me, which is growing businesses, developing people, being relational. I've now, with the help of my business partner, Dawn, and great partners around us, have the ability to really help people develop themselves and scale their business, which is really fun. A little more about me. Last night, this is a very personal story.
Mm-hmm. All right.
My wife's usually entertaining a few conversations is like I'm trying to fall asleep. Kids are like, "Wait, Mom, what about this? What about this?" And then she finally, last kid left, and she snuggles up next to me and she said, "Are you crying?" And I was trying to hide it. Aww. And I couldn't answer her because I wasn't just crying, I was sobbing. And she's like, "Are you okay? Like, this is like a real cry," And finally I got the words out, like I'm having a really hard time with my oldest daughter. The thought of her growing up and leaving the house is like really hard for me because I'm so close to her. Like, we are so close. Mm-hmm. And she's like the perfect role model for my other 5 children. She's just so good. She's so ready, right? And she's a senior this year. And that's, you usually think that you'd have these feelings and these experiences like at graduation time. And she's in this kind of elite choir group, and I drop her off on Thursday mornings. It was yesterday. And as I just watched her walk into the class, I thought, oh my goodness, my little girl. And then adding to that, what caused this is that I got this on, Facebook suggests former stories, and it showed her like literally 5 years ago playing the ukulele. And I was like, she was so little. Like, how did this, it was so fast. And you just start having all these thoughts like, have I made enough memories with her? Like all these thoughts of like, some of them healthy, some of them not, like could I have been done better, been more? But anyway, at my heart, that's who I am. Like just a guy who like realizes he totally hit the jackpot when I married who I married. Like to this day, I'm like, I don't know how I pulled it off, but I did. And I just am so in love with her and my kids. It's just crazy. So anyway, that's a little more about me.
I can relate to that since we just took our oldest to her college this week and moved her into her dorm. So I've been crying like crazy, and I'm not a crier. I'm going to test you normally. So my husband and I have been, adjusting. So I understand what you're feeling, because I experienced the same feelings throughout first senior year, and it just made me realize I got to soak up everything I can and really be there with our other daughters. And I think, for a lot of us, we get into real estate so that we have that flexibility in our schedules. And it's worked. It's worked pretty well for us, I would say, overall.
Yeah. Well, and I think, kind of tying this into business, I think that's why I'm really passionate about, the thing that I really, the banner that I want to carry to the world, which is working by professional referral, right? We all know, Brian Buffini did a wonderful job of really waving that banner of working by referral, right? Notes, calls, and Popeyes, and really building relationships with your personal sphere. And what I believe is that a great addition to that is working by professional referral, meaning that you have other professionals who are situated just upstream from a real estate transaction, and you build a partnership with them, right? It's just simply a partnership model where you identify these professionals as working just like you and having a great client experience, and that their clients oftentimes need you next, right? These can come in the form of tax professionals, financial advisors, insurance agents, even home service professionals, right? Like painters, handymen, roofers, etc. These professionals are looking for ways to not just be a bid. They're looking for ways to be more to the client. And a great way for them to do that is to simply find out the motivation of why somebody's roofing their house, why they're painting their house. And then simply ask the question, it seems like you're probably going to be needing a great real estate agent next. Do you already have someone who you would rate as a level 9 or 10 professional who's helping you? And if the answer is yes, great, I'd like to meet them, right? I love surrounding myself with 9s and 10s. If they're not, if you don't have anybody, I would be open to making a 3-way text to someone who I think is. I'll let you decide for yourself. But that way of helping a home service professional or an asset-based professional to add more value to their clients by connecting them to the next great professional that they need becomes a really powerful way for the client at the end of the day to get a better experience. And for these professionals to not have to spend 3 to 4 hours of their day hunting for the next opportunity. They're simply offering an elevated level of service to their clients. And because they have what we call a wealth advisory team around them of these other professionals who are trained to do similarly, now these other professionals are bringing your ideal client to the table, not like an online lead that you've got to nurture for 6 months while they kick the tires. Right? But they're bringing to you at the moment that they need you. So they nurture the lead for you. They edify you at that moment. Their trust is transferred to you to where now you're not spending all of this time out hunting for new clients. You're literally just adding value to a professional sphere who's teeing you up just at the very moment that you're needed, right? Which allows you to do more business at better margins, offering a better quality of life or a better overall experience, and have a better quality of life, right? Which again serves all those purposes that I say define me, right? Which is have a very relational life, have a successful business, and then significance with your family. Actually, you can turn it off because you've got these professional relationships that will keep bringing you business. You don't have to go hunting every day or you don't eat, right?
Right.
So this platform that now I get the wonderful good fortune to help lead, ProInsight, makes that easy for people. And so that's why I'm so excited about what we're doing right now, because it takes all those things that make up again who I am and the impact that I want to have in the world, and just makes it simple for people.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So you kind of mentioned where it came from. I don't want to forget to talk about your book, the upstream model, because what you were just referring to, like you just mentioned, is the ProInsight platform. But it really starts with that book that how many years ago did you write that book?
4, coming up on 5.
And that came from your experience as a builder.
Yeah.
So that book is what led you into the ProInsight world. And, maybe you could just share a little bit more about the why behind all of that book and the ProInsight network.
Yeah. Going back to, again, when I was 25 years old, most of my friends were also 25. And I was building luxury custom homes. And I was actually coached by Buffini & Company, right? That's why I give them kudos. They're a wonderful organization. And it wasn't working for me because my friends were 25 and I needed referrals to $1 million clients. So I thought, well, if my personal sphere isn't going to be a good referral source, I still want to work by referral, right? I didn't have the advertising budget to have billboards all over town, right? So I joined a local BNI chapter. And from that, I found some friendships that I still have today. And I got no referrals from it. And that's not everybody's experience, but I will say that as soon as you start showing up for that, they want you to take on leadership positions, right? Mm-hmm. And you're there in person every week. And the majority of the room wanted to help me, but they didn't have the influence or weren't positioned in the marketplace to be able to help me, right? It was acupuncturists and chiropractors and florists and, right? A real estate agent that was, up and coming, right? So it just wasn't a great use of time. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I began asking, okay, if I'm going to grow this business, I felt very comfortable building the homes, had a great client experience, was working by referral, but I wanted to grow more than that. And I think that maybe a lot of real estate agents probably feel that way of yeah, my friends and family, they love me and they'll refer me as soon as they get an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I need more business than that, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't have the time, especially with those of us that have a deep commitment to family life, to be out every evening networking with the community and playing mayor in order to build a bigger sphere. Mm-hmm. And that was me. I actually wanted to be home. I wanted to be with family. And so I identified that I didn't have to know everybody. I just needed to know the right people. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was an architect, right? And I stubbed my toe the first time. I was like, oh, an architect, all I need is a great partnership with an architect and I'll have all the business I need. So I took the approach of stepping into that architect's office as a solicitor. Like, hey, here's a stack of my cards. I'm a builder. Here's the homes I've built. Do you have any plans for me to build? And I was just like every other builder that was doing that same thing.
Super familiar to a lot of real estate agents going out there trying to drum up their cards. Yeah.
In fact, many of them will probably get off this call and be like, this is it. I'm going to work by professional referral. And they're going to go out and they're going to try and hand somebody a stack of cards or go to them and say, hey, I hear that, you have clients you could refer me, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. And in a B2B setting, those B2C tactics where you don't have a deep relationship already, they don't work. They weren't meant to work in that regard. And so it took me a minute to regather after that didn't work. And I was dismissed politely from the office after they took a stack of my cards and I'm sure filed them in the wastebasket underneath the desk, right, with all the other people that were soliciting, or put them in some obscure place and nobody would ever see them. But I took a different approach. I thought, you know what, if I could just get introduced, going back to the whole premise of this, of building a referral business, if I could get introduced into the right architectural designer, then I'd have a better shot. And so I went to an interior designer who loved me. She was telling everybody about me. And I said, do you know Jared Connors? And she's like, yeah, I do a lot of work with Jared. I said, would you introduce me to Jared? And by the way, can I give you some verbiage of what to say so that I just don't show up as another builder there with my handout? So I crafted some edification for myself and say, you put this in your own words, but use this. So Jared was willing to meet with me, and she positioned it. I helped her to position it as, Justin is an up and coming builder. He's doing great things. You two need to connect. I think he can help you grow as well. In other words, Justin's not coming with this handout to get something from you. Justin's coming to contribute. And so my entire conversation patterned that, is that I went in to learn about Jared's business and to identify what were some challenges that he was having growing an architectural business. And then I followed up with a phone call, said, hey, I've got an idea of someone, based on what you said, I've got an idea of someone that I'd like to introduce you to, that I think could help with some of the marketing things that you talked about. So I began to actually add a little bit of value to Jared, right? And it wasn't significant, but it didn't take significant value to outpace what other builders were doing. Most of them were coming in with their handout, right? So I just took a simple interest in his business, made an introduction, and then stayed in contact with him. The next step was, hey, Jared, do you have the opportunity to do like a pre-construction walk, like where you go out, even prior to that, like as you're designing the home, do you go out and walk the job site, like to actually walk the architectural site, like where they're going to be building, because these were custom homes. He said, it's best practices, but sometimes I don't make it out there. Sometimes I don't. So I pull the plat map and all of that, pull it from that. And but he talked about best practices would be to go out to see on these custom homes, like in the fall, where's the sun coming up and where's it going down and what's that going to do to your kitchen lighting and all that. And I said, could I do that for you? Like, would it be okay if you're welcome to be there, but if you can't, I'm happy to do it. And I'll put on your jersey, right? I'm there on your errand, right? So I found a way not only to add value to Jared's business, but I found a way to add value to Jared's clients. So now in this process of being willing to do that for Jared, I'm getting early introductions before my competitors even knew that these people were a possibility, right? And I'm getting introduced in an edified manner. So now all of a sudden I'm meeting clients and having a chance to just build a relationship with them. Tell me about this home that you're building, right? To where all of a sudden, and I said, and oh, by the way, I build, I'd love to have the opportunity to build. And they're like, Jared's like, give it to Justin first, right? So I'd have an inside track. And so that model there of identifying who's upstream, adding value to their business, and then finding a way to add value to their clients became a model that then I took into the real estate industry, began to teach, and eventually was invited to author a book on that topic. And so real estate agents could do the same thing, right? Identify the partners who are just upstream from them, right? Come in, be curious about them, add value to their business, expecting nothing in return, right? Mm-hmm. And then get really curious about how can I add value to their client experience that allows them to have an increased client experience for their clients. And at the same time, I'm getting early introductions to their people, right? So that became the model that now we're helping professionals across 31 professional categories to implement, which is the ProInsight platform, right? Which is a more simple way to apply those principles and get that steady stream of warm referrals from other professionals.
Which is so awesome. I wonder if you could expand a little bit on the numbers side of it. I know, because obviously we're members of ProInsight and adore it, where you talk about, someone needing to build their database, 200, 300 people and what that would look like, typically what a realtor would do or would need to do versus how you teach us to do it through ProInsight.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for allowing me to talk about that. So if you're looking at a relationship-based business, the average sphere converts at about 10% in a normal year. Now, the past few years have not been normal because everyone's married to their interest rate, right? Mm-hmm. So, if you said people moved once every 10 years, these numbers that I'm going to share with you would apply to that. It's been closer to between 12 and 16, but I think we're starting to see that come down. I think we'll start to see some more movement. So let's use the number 10 because it's easy math, right? So in other words, if you had a database of 300 people, then you should, if you're nurturing that database, those relationships well, that should equate to about 30 deals a year, right? And again, it's been more than that over the past number of years because fewer people are moving, right? But again, in a typical year, that's about the numbers that you should expect if you're really loving on these people, right? Half of those will come directly from them. The other half will come from referrals from those people, okay? And that's a great business, right? Mm-hmm. And let's also add in that if you want to take it to 40 deals, you need to add 100 people to that database, right? And that's no small feat, right?
No,
100 personal relationships.
Internet leads. Yeah, it's not just internet leads. It's actual nurtured relationships.
Yes, these are like personal relationships, right? So you look around and say 100 people, right? It just takes an enormous amount of effort, which again, if you're committed to grow, it will work, right? But what we teach is what we call 2020 vision, which is a professional relationship converts at a much higher level. In other words, because they're talking to property owners every single day, they're able to send you more business. It's not that they like you more than your friends and family. It's just that they have more at-bats because all of their clients, if you choose the right professionals, have property owners, and they're talking to people around life events, right? And so what we've found is that if you had 20 professional partners, each of those professional partners would refer you once per quarter. Now, again, if they're in someone's home or talking to a property owner every day or multiple people every day, it's not a far stretch to believe that that person could introduce you to somebody once per quarter, right? So that's 80 referrals from 20 people. Now, if we took a very conservative approach and said only 25% of those will convert into an actual transaction, right? There's 20 deals from 20 relationships instead of 200 relationships, right? Which personal sphere, again, to add 20 deals, you need 200 relationships. What we're saying is you don't need 200 relationships, you need 20. Or if you wanted to add 10, there's 10 relationships, right? But you follow the pattern that I just described, which is get curious, like meet the other person, get curious about them, right? Add value to their business, find a way to add value to their clients. And what happens is that introduction becomes so natural because just like I did with Jared, I found a way to insert myself into his client experience, right? It was part of it. And so when we start to do that, it allows us to, they don't have to remember to think about us. We're just part of it. We're already there. We're integrated into it, which is what a partnership looks like. And that's kind of what I described at the beginning. ProInsight is simply, it's a simple partnership model that allows agents to scale their business more quickly by referral.
So for the sake of time, let's talk about the ProInsight network. Like where are the territories? How are they distributed? How can real estate agents and lenders and service-based professionals get involved?
Perfect. What we've created, again, is a digital platform in which professionals serving property owners collaborate as a wealth advisory team. Okay, again, we believe that when professionals work together on behalf of the client gets a better experience. You're more likely to get referrals and those introductions from the professionals that we're collaborating with you. So what we do is we start with real estate agents because that's our background. And we believe that of all these professions, the real estate agent tends to be kind of the center of the town square, right? They tend to be the best referral giver. And so we start with them and we have, and we choose one in most counties. I mean, 80% of the counties across the country, we choose one real estate agent per county for our signature network. Now in counties that are more populated, we parse up that county a little bit more just so that there's proper coverage, right? So we reserve at least a 100,000 person population base for every one of our members, okay? And many times it's much more than that. Okay, so, but let's just for ease of describing this, let's say one real estate agent per county. A real estate agent then refers their preferred lender, one who also works by referral, who they're probably already pretty close to, right? So when you think of a real estate agent and a lender who are already working closely together, what we do is we gift them the ability, or we give them the ability to gift annual memberships to the other almost 30 professional categories. So attorneys, tax professionals, financial advisors, roofer, painter, plumber. Like you simply look around to say, who are the people that I already trust, that I already like, who want to work by referral? What if I were to go to them to say, hey, I'd really like to collaborate with you more deeply. I was selected by ProInsight to be the real estate agent in our county. And because of that, I'm given the kind of first right of refusal to identify other professionals in our community who I already collaborate with, who I'd like to collaborate with more, to also be the only professional in our community in your profession, right? So in the painter profession, for example, or in the financial advisor profession, there's going to be one per county. I'm submitting your name as someone who I think would appreciate that, and who I'd like to learn to collaborate with more. And because of my membership, you don't pay for the first year. Your annual membership is a part of mine for a year. If you like it, stay. If not, like, no problem. But what this does is it allows the real estate agent to really identify who are the people that they've been feeding for a long time, right? That they've been referring business to, and say, how do I not just get those referrals to come back, but also how do I help deepen that person's business? How do I help them get referrals from other people instead of just from me? I'm gonna help them get referrals from these other professions as well. So again, we start with a real estate agent. We choose the right agent. That agent brings us to the right lender, and then together they get the ability, if they want, it's not required, right? But typically they recognize that there's an imbalance in the amount of referrals they're sending out versus getting back, and it's like, let's help these relationships be even more fruitful, kind of collectively. And so that's where ProInsight comes, is to actually not just feature them on a platform, but we do weekly masterminds in which we teach these professionals how to properly introduce each other, and how to collaborate on behalf of the client at a deeper level. So,
And we have been seeing some referrals coming through. I think this week I've heard of, I don't know, 4 from some of my peers, and some of them are well over $1 million referrals. Yeah. I thought, oh my goodness, that's awesome. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun part for us, right? It's one thing to see really great real estate agents, because again, we personally vet everybody. Like, you don't get into ProInsight just by filling out a form. We have a personal conversation with you to see if you're the right person. Do you really work by referral, right? Because if you're just a lead chaser, that's a different business model. No offense, but you're just not the right fit for us. We need people who have relationships with their clients, who want to add more value to them. So that's super fun, because every day, in fact, just before this call, an amazing agent out of San Bernardino, California, like, incredible, just joined our network. It's so fun. And then what's even more fun is to see the referrals start to fly between these professionals, because they're like, man, if you vetted me this way, that means everybody on this platform is vetted like that. That's who I want to be sending my clients to, especially in this new real estate world. I need people who are really good.
Can I say one thing? Just from yesterday's mastermind, I was on it, and I met an agent that had recently joined, and he's in Florida, and I'm here, and we messaged afterwards and exchanged numbers, and we're like, if you have anyone coming out your way, if you've got anybody coming to Yosemite, whether to buy, or I gave him the link to our hotel that we have. So
fun.
It's just really cool. I'm like, I'm getting to know so many people in all these different markets. And I know that they treat their business how I do, and their clients like we do. So it's kind of cool.
Well, I was just going to say, because real estate agents have networks. We have a network within EXP where we can go on Workplace and look in Arizona and try and find an agent. But what I have found when I have tried to do that is it's not effective. Number one, you don't know who you're getting. You're trying to figure out, like, does this person actually even have a successful career in production, meaning like actually doing a good amount, a healthy amount of production. Then you got to call them and vet them. I mean, it's like this process, and then you get nothing. So one of the many things that I like about ProInsight is that that if you're looking in a specific territory, obviously they've been vetted right by you, but there's also minimum requirements specific to production that I think just at minimum gives me comfortable knowledge, knowing these people actually just know how to do the job.
Yeah.
So that's really great.
Yeah. It is.
What we've found is, again, these national companies have done a good job of making it really easy to send referrals, which I think is a step up from the Facebook groups. If anybody know an agent here, and it's like, here, right? And it's like, and you're wondering, like, does this person just hang out on Facebook all day, or are they actually out with clients, right? You don't know. Yeah. So I think that's, but even that, just like you're saying, Michelle, is that you're still wondering, like, does this person actually do business, right? And so part of our, like, an agent's profile is how many clients did you serve in the past year, right? So you have an idea, right? And again, there's a standard by which you can't even get through the door if you're not. And there's actually a standard by which if you do too many, you're also not allowed in, because once you get, above, 6, 7, 8 a month, it's really hard to maintain a personal relationship with people. Mm-hmm. So if your numbers are too high, you're probably not going to be allowed in, right? Unless you just have a team of professionals that work differently, but you still work by referral. So we really get into how much of that was your production. And because, again, if you don't have any influence over the client to really or time with them to open the conversation about what other professionals might they be needing next, then you don't do our platform any good, right? We're not looking for a membership. We're looking for an active referring member who's an advisor looking to become what we call a director, which is someone who really collaborates with the other professionals on behalf of the client. So.
Okay, well, we know that the agents that are listening are going to be like, how do I learn more? How do I sign up? What do they need? Where do they need to go to get information on ProInsight, and where do they need to go to get information on Justin Stoddart?
Yeah, thank you. Let me say this, because some might be like, well, I'm just getting started. So I love all of this, but I'm obviously not going to qualify, right? We actually have an option for that. So I'll just encourage everybody to go to proinsight.com. And there you'll actually see, there's videos and all kinds of, even like what it costs to be a member, which you'll probably be like, now, is that a month or a year? That's really inexpensive. That's sometimes what we get. But we have an offer for people whose production isn't quite there yet. They can be on what's called our growth team, which is we help you to work by professional referral until you get up to the level that you could be in our signature network. So regardless of where you're at, go to proinsight.com. Take a look at it. And then I would encourage you also to follow me on Instagram. I'd love to have a conversation with you, right? You will be admitted into the signature network on a conversation. So feel free to start that with me. Just message me on Instagram. It's at Justin Stoddart with a T at the end, Stoddart. Just message me there. And, we'd love to get a chance to meet you and see if you're the right fit, right? Whether to be on our growth team or in our signature network. So.
And Courtney and I know a lot about the network too.
Yeah.
So
we can hear our experience.
We can always give you more information as well on our experience. And we have been blessed to know you, Justin, for, gosh, it's been a year now.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for everything.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Justin. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been it's so fun to see the impact you ladies are having on the industry. I mean, everybody that meets you not only just loves you, but they immediately respect you. Like, these ladies are going places, and everybody can feel that. And just the accomplishments you've already had are just, although impressive, it's just so small compared to what we all see you're working on and building now, and the way that you're contributing to people's lives. It's exciting. I'm excited to just be connected to you both. I'm such a fan. So thank you for the opportunity to come speak.
Thank you, Justin. And hold on to that little girl. Well, all the children, but hold on to that little girl
as long as you can.
Yeah, I know I am. I only have one. All right. Have a great week. Good.
Thanks, ladies.
Good
Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Justin.
You too.
Bye.